The Hanging Scroll of the Time of Medallion by Sheldon Gomes for Religion 388. The Hanging Scroll of the Time of Medallion is an example of religious art which endeavors to enhance the viewer's belief and understanding in the Buddhist faith. It was created in Taiyum in Kyoto, Japan, between 1185 AD and 1333 AD. It is roughly 2 meters by 1.5 meters in size. The mediums used to create this mandala include silk, ink, pigment, and metals such as gold and silver. This particular mandala can be seen hanging at the Prince Takamado Gallery in the Royal Ontario Museum. The hanging scroll can be segmented into 3 main parts, each occupying a third of the mandala's total area. The main image of the hanging scroll is of the Pure Land described in Buddhist tradition. The image in the center depicts the court of essential doctrine. The Buddha Ida sits in the center, and seated on either side of him are Bodhisattvas. The 3 figures in the foreground are the Buddha Amida and the Bodhisattvas Kannon and Sishi. These 3 figures are the largest on the mandala. Mandalas are among the most recognizable aspects of the Buddhist and Hindu religions. These works of art have meaning that stems from architecture to psychology. The general purpose of a mandala is to simplify a difficult religious concept through the use of visual art. Mandalas are symbolic in nature, with every detail carrying out meaning to the viewer. In general terms, mandalas are seen as symmetrical works of art composed of squares and circles. These shapes form concentric circles around the center, all of which carry meaning with it. Within these shapes are images and symbols that carry information to the viewer who endeavors to meditate on these ideas. In addition to symmetrical mandalas, which are well known, there are asymmetrical mandalas, not identifiable at first as mandalas. These works of art have the same characteristics as their symmetrical siblings, but on a far more subtle level. Found in Buddhist works of religious art, mandalas are aids for meditation, symbols of cosmological ideas, and tools for visualization. All mandalas in Buddhist art are used as a means to assist viewers on their path to enlightenment. This is accomplished through a variety of ways. First, symbolism is used in mandalas in an effort to convey complex ideologies to the viewer. The use of symbolism is crucial in the conveyance of these lessons due to the simple shape of the mandala. Secondly, mandalas are used to teach devotees the sutras from Buddhist cosmology. The timeless nature of a mandala allows for it to last hundreds of years, thereby allowing the creator to reach a vast number of people through the ages and past their deaths. By doing so, the lessons of great Buddhist thinkers are able to be learned by future generations. Third, there is a ritualistic component to viewing mandalas. The ritual allows one to clear their mind and meditate on the ideas gleaned from the mandala. By doing so, viewers are once again assisted on their path to enlightenment. Finally, there is a functional aspect to mandalas, which causes certain cognitive processes to activate, thereby assisting the viewer to attain enlightenment. Symbolism. Mandalas are rife with symbolism through their simplistic shapes and use of concentric circles and squares. Within mandalas, flowers are often used to symbolize aspects of a devotee's path to enlightenment. This is seen in the hanging scroll, along its borders, and within the piece itself. The flowers depicted in the scroll, and often in other mandalas, are lotuses. The lotus flower is symbolic in the Buddhist faith and very prevalent in the cosmology. This flower is renowned for its beauty, but is often found growing in murky, dirty waters. Therefore, the flower is symbolic of humans on their path to enlightenment. A human can relate with the lotus flower, as much like the flower, according to Buddhist cosmology, humans are born into the murky realm of desires and forms. Here, humans are unable to see enlightenment. Instead, they are only led by their wants for material things. The flower represents the ability for an organism to rise above this and take on a beautiful form. The flower uses the mud, symbolic of the suffering humans endure, to transform into something beautiful, representing enlightenment, and to rise above it all. Humans are able to, similarly to the lotus flower, to float above the murky, confusing temporal world. In addition to the symbolic lotus flower, colors are used to assist the viewer in understanding the importance of certain scenes and characters. Color is an integral component in the way humans view life. They can invoke feelings and assist in understanding. An everyday example of this is traffic lights. Traffic lights are used to assist drivers at intersections. Red means stop, green means go. This seems to be universal, as it's used all over the world, and there is basic understanding of these colors. Similarly, in religions, red is an example used to represent anger and urgency. Green, on the other hand, is symbolic of tranquility and nature. Similarly, colors are used in Buddhist mandalas to highlight aspects of the characters or scenes that are portrayed. For instance, in the hanging scrolls, gold is used liberally in the scenes of the court. According to Buddhist cosmology, gold is the color of sacredness. This is likely due to the nature of gold. Being a precious metal, it's rare and is not affected by the environment it's in. It doesn't oxidize, doesn't change its color over time, doesn't get dull. In the hanging scrolls, after hundreds of years of existence, the scenes that use gold have not been affected by the environment and are as vibrant today as they were when they were first weaved together and made. This is symbolic of the attainment of enlightenment. Like gold, once a devotee has attained enlightenment, they are no longer affected by the world they occupy, the temporal world. Rather, they transcend this world and time that causes suffering and decay. Silver is another color used in the hanging scroll and mandalas in general. Though it is a noble metal, fit for use in devotional religious artwork, does not have the same timeless properties as gold. Silver is used to symbolize the temporal world of man. It deteriorates, it oxidizes with time, reflecting the fleeting nature of life. Separate from the world of the enlightened in the Pure Lands, silver is used in the Hanging Scrolls to depict scenes that take place on unenlightened realms of man. This use of symbolism through color is a crucial component in the assistance of the devotee's path to enlightenment. Mirroring color, the symbolic use of size is an important component in representing hierarchy in mandalas. Size is a universal indicator of importance. It's been used symbolically not only by Buddhist religious art, but Egyptian art, Mesoamerican, Indian, and Christian works. In the Hanging Scroll, found at the Royal Ontario Museum, the three largest characters are found in the center of the piece. The Buddha Amida is seen sitting in the center. He's the most important individual on the mandala, and therefore is the largest. His size allows for the viewer to focus on him while meditating and thinking about the lessons taught in the work. The smaller individuals that flank him are of less importance, but still significant as they're larger than the other beings in the mandala. Another way mandalas assist devotees on their path to enlightenment is by incorporating many teachings into the piece of art. By doing so, the viewer is able to see these doctrines and to contemplate them while meditating. In the Hanging Scroll of the time of Mandela, there are multiple lessons, cosmological teachings, and commentaries littering the work. Important sections of the contemplation of the Buddha of immeasurable life are depicted in the mandala with commentary from the Pure Land Master Shando, which is incorporated into it. Mandalas aid devotees by delivering teachings through visual depictions. By way of these depictions, the viewer, regardless of their educational level, is able to receive lessons in some form. Additionally, as mandalas are not living beings, they are able to impart knowledge to the viewer through the centuries. Therefore, the devotee viewing the image is able to learn from a master who may have died long ago or is otherwise unable to be present to teach the devotee in person. Sutras are used in Buddhism as a way of imparting the general ideas of a text, ideology, or belief. They are concise versions of otherwise complex teachings. Mandalas are used as a method of conveying these ideas to devotees. The use of words is often not enough to relay complex teachings involving the intangible. By way of depicting images relating to these teachings, devotees are able to view the entire concept visually and then meditate on the individual components or ideas. This allows for greater understanding of complex ideas delivered in a shorter time frame. This word. Circumambulation. Mandalas are essentially a prop used to bring a devotee into a space where they're able to contemplate the ideas of Buddhism and the cosmos in general. The use and understanding of symbols gives devotees the basic understanding of these ideas. This allows devotees and the viewer to immerse themselves in a space where they are able to achieve enlightenment. The ritualistic act of circumambulation is key in the study of mandalas. Much like the physical act of walking around a sacred site, devotees use their eyes to trace a path around the mandala, circumnavigating it. This is used in conjunction with the continuous narration technique. By doing so, the devotee is actively able to read the sutras and contemplations found within the mandala. This meditative ritual causes devotees to ponder the ideas within the mandala, leading to the ultimate goal of enlightenment. Psychology in mandalas. Mandalas are a psychological tool that allow humans to contemplate the exterior world and their interior soul. This is likely due to their simplistic nature. The repetitive geometric shapes allow for ease of understanding on a cognitive level. Mandalas have been used by Buddhists to induce a meditative state, but also by psychologists. The famous psychologist Carl Jung used mandalas while treating his patients. Like Buddhists, psychologists attempt to aid individuals to reach a state of understanding. Both Buddhists and psychologists share many similarities in their endeavor to understand the human psyche. Both attempt to center individuals who are struggling with their thoughts and behaviors. As such, the mandala allows for humans to contemplate their lives, learn about their subconscious, and try to attain happiness. Buddhists seek to attain enlightenment by way of understanding the teachings of the Buddha and other wise Bodhisattvas. Psychologists, they attempt to aid their patients to attain happiness or enlightenment by helping them understand their thought patterns and the consequences of their behaviors, similar to karma. Mandalas are used in Buddhism to allow the viewer to contemplate ideas far too complex to be understood by mere words. Though seen as symmetrical works of art, religious art, comprised of squares and circles, mandalas carry deep meaning in techniques and teachings that aid a viewer in attaining enlightenment. They do not have to be symmetrical in nature, as the asymmetrical mandalas have the same characteristics as their symmetrical kin on a far more subtle level. Mandalas found in Buddhist works of religious art are aids for meditation, symbols of cosmological ideas, and tools for visualization.